All right, I want to talk a little bit about tennis elbow. So I see a lot of racket sport players. I'm a former pro squash player, I play a lot of tennis, and I've got a bunch of people who have tennis elbow. So here's a little spiel about it. So there's a lot of videos online about tennis elbow, and some are great, and some are just kind of more of the same. So you'll see a lot of people who will say to strengthen your forearm, they'll do little forearm exercises like this. Maybe they'll do the dumbbell where they're going to go forward or to the side, and all those make sense in the scheme of things because you are trying to, your forearm is part of the issue, right? Your forearm hurts, it's got to be part of tennis elbow, totally fair. But there's a few things that are not discussed, especially early intervention, so right when things are really painful. You kind of don't want to go right into using those dumbbells in the way that people do. Every tendon is different. If you're doing something for the Achilles tendon down in by your ankle, you're going to do exercise for that a lot differently than you do for your forearm, for tennis elbow. They just act differently. The Achilles springs you, right? It loads that tendon so that you can explode forward. The tendons of your elbow that get injured when you have tennis elbow are actually there to stabilize your wrist. So if you have a racket, you're going to be here for your volley, right? You're doing a backhand volley, your wrist is in a cocked position. Those muscles up here, the tendons, are not really you're not trying to flick anything there, right? Those are holding steady while you're going for your backhand volley or backhand, whatever your painful thing is, but usually the backhand volley can be pretty painful. So we want to train those muscles the same way that they're used. You don't want to go right into doing concentric or eccentric exercises. Eccentrics have been the be-all end-all for tennis elbow, for tendons in general. But everyone's different, right? There's a bunch of research going into this. So when we start our journey to recover from tennis elbow, there's a few things to understand. One, we want to go with isometrics first. Two, gripping is part of the problem. Gripping is hurting, right? So if you have tennis elbow, it probably hurts to grab your cup of coffee or pour the coffee into the coffee mug. That's because when you are holding something down here, like this, right? These muscles on the bottom side are creating force that the top muscles have to act against. So if these top muscles did not act against these, you would just completely grasp forward and there'd be nothing to kind of hold you back this way. So same thing, when you're hitting that backhand volley and you're here, you're gripping the racket pretty hard. Also, that ball is pushing the racket back this way. So you're, again, gripping and trying to kind of create some force going back that way. So there's gripping as well as just the actual strength needed to kind of keep this neutral instead of going forward like that. So that being said, we want to start with isometrics, and the research is telling us that we want about 2 minutes of isometric holds in total. All right, so that is going to be whatever you can handle. So maybe it's going to be 10 seconds 12 times. Maybe it's going to be 30 seconds 4 times, and you do breaks in the middle. So to start, I would use a band. So let's say, I don't know, I have this band. I'm going to put that band under my foot, raise it up, and I'm not going to hold the band. I want the band to be at my knuckles, right? Because if I'm holding it, now I'm gripping, and gripping does not feel good. So same thing, if you're going to do this with a dumbbell, you're gripping that dumbbell, that grip is kind of already counteracting what we want to work on up here. So I would get a band, a light band, this one's way too heavy, and I would hold here in about neutral, maybe a little bit above neutral. Does that make sense? A little closer look. That would be neutral. That is a bit above neutral, right? So holding there, 10 seconds as maybe your minimum, 30 seconds as your maximum, doing repetitions so that your total time under tension, total time working, is 2 minutes. So that is number one exercise. We want to get these things working. We don't want pain here. You can have 2 to 3 out of 10 pain. 0 pain is great. 10 out of 10 pain is like you need emergency room, right? So we would need like 2 or 3 out of 10 is okay to feel in the elbow where it hurts. Ideally, you're going to feel more of that muscle burn in the actual tendon, in the actual muscle belly itself in the middle of your forearm, okay? So that's my first exercise I give to people. Second exercise is going to be a hammer. If you can't hold the hammer because it hurts to hold things, get something smaller. You can get a pencil with like a weight on it. Anyway, I would go for something that you feel comfortable holding, something not very heavy. So at first, I'm gonna take this little tiny hatchet, and again, I'm gonna rest my arm on my leg like I did for the extension one, right? For the extension, and I'm just gonna hold it here. Feels like not much, right? I don't have tennis elbow right now, thankfully, but this feels pretty light, and that's how you should start as well. Start with, again, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, wherever you are in there, holding it like this. If we're gonna go, if you have a longer object like this hammer, and that's too hard, right? Again, we don't want pain at the elbow itself, then choke up so that you can hold it here. I'm not gripping too tightly because my thumb just kind of like holds this thing in place a bit, so that might be really fine. That might be too much, maybe somewhere in the middle. You do want to feel a little bit of muscular tension in the middle of the forearm. You don't want to feel it at the elbow where it's hurting, okay? So those are my first 2 exercises for tennis elbow. You do not want to like stop moving it. You want to keep on like doing everything you can so that that doesn't increase pain. So sometimes even shaking someone's hand is going to hurt. Maybe do some fist bumps instead. I also would not do long stretches for it. So again, this is going to be a stretch. It might feel really good to stretch it out. You feel like you need it, but those tendons, and especially the common tendon where it inserts, is going to be a little pissed off. So do what you can to not piss it off more. And imagine this thing's got like, it used to be solid, now it's got a little cut in it, right? And when you're stretching it, you're kind of just like making it a little bit angry, even though it feels like it's probably tightening up because it needs to. So I would do some active motion. Maybe if you look up like wrist cars, and I can do another video for those in the future. So wrist cars, same thing. Elbow cars are great. Keep the motion going. Don't overstretch. I would hold off on the concentric and eccentric exercises until isometric feels good. Whole other component of this later on in the rehab is going to be how your shoulder and possibly neck interacts with the forearm, and why maybe it's coming from that, maybe it's not. But we're not built with parts, we're whole units. So anyway, hope this was helpful. Try those exercises out and have a good day.